while I was off last week, of course, the good news that I have been generally asking the universe, begging the universe, actually, you guys know this, I have been begging for good news, and good news came last week. January 13th, I think it was that same day, Friday the 13th, guys. Keith Davis Jr. was released from the Maryland Department of Corrections after serving 7 years for, let me check my notes, absolutely fucking nothing. Keith Davis Jr. had been tried 4 times for the same murder. 4 times this man was not convicted of this crime. And instead of attempting to try him a 5th time for the same murder, former emphasis on former Baltimore State Attorney Marilyn Mosby had pressed attempted murder charges against Keith Davis Jr., in which he and his team were preparing for a trial to go forward. That it was up until the Maryland Democratic primary this past June, when former Baltimore State Attorney Marilyn Mosby lost the Democratic primary to Ivan Bates. And in Maryland, Democrats usually win everything. So whoever's the winner of the Democratic primary is the winner, right? So now it's official. Ivan Bates is the new Baltimore State Attorney. And within a couple of weeks of him being in office, he announced Friday the 13th that charges would be dismissed against Keith Davis Jr. and Keith was set free. Gang, we have been covering this case since the inception of this channel for at least 2 years, but this has been a 7-year saga for the Davises. And I want us to take a look, if we could, at some videos posted by Kelly Davis, Keith Davis Jr.'s wife, Kelly. Kelly has been a guest before on this program. And what we're going to see, I think pop up that tweet for me, Will. Let me see the picture. Pop up the Sun. That picture of the Baltimore Sun, Keith Davis Jr. on the front page of the Baltimore Sun. Free. Coming home. Yeah, make that big. Yes, go. Let's go. Let us go. Come on now. Charges dropped. Woo! What a day. What a day. What a day. What a day. So I want us to take a look at a couple of videos posted by Kelly. Follow her on Twitter at 50 Shades of Kells, Kellz. And this first video we're going to see is the moment that Keith was reunited. They have 3 children. The couple have 3 children. And I think this was their middle child, Jaden, where Keith showed up at his school and surprised Jaden, who did not know that his dad had been released from jail. And the second video we're going to see are of, I'm telling you, they are the most beautiful couple I think I've ever seen, Keith and Kelly Davis. It looked like they were at Dave and Buster's up at Arundel Mills. I don't know, that's exactly where they were. That's what it looked like. They was doing it's called Cosmic Bowl. Yeah, the glow in the dark bowling up at the Dave and Buster's, having a couples night, having a date night for the first time in several years. So let's take a look at these clips.
Are you counting points?
Yeah, even if you can't come back.
I can come back. No, I don't think so. I think your math is off. That's okay. You ain't. I think I can. What up?
I sleep all day.
Hi, you miss me?
Mm-hmm. You coming? Like, bro. Oh, what the yeah, right.
Oh, Jaden.
What's going on?
Oh. Oh, Jaden, you gonna make me cry? Don't cry, Jaden. Oh.
That's cool, bro. Let's go. Girl, catch him. Come on.
Good boy.
I'm not crying. Y'all are crying. I'm not crying. Y'all crying. I am not crying. You all are crying. This is actually the first time in the 10 times that I've watched that video clip that I did not cry. Cuz it's so touching and it's so it's heartwarming and simultaneously heartbreaking because for one, let me be clear here. Keith Davis Jr. is not free because Ivan Bates is the fucking state's attorney. Keith Davis Jr. is free because of a sustained organizing effort led by his wife, led by Kelly Davis. Okay, first of all, let's be clear. It's amazing that Keith is still alive. Okay, lest we not forget that Baltimore City Police shot him numerous times. They expected Keith to die. Keith fucked up the program by living. Okay, he was so strong he survived a police attempted assassination of him and spent 7 years in jail for a crime that he ultimately did not commit. So the reason Keith is free is because number one, he has the best wife, I think, on the planet. I mean, the best spouse, the best partner. I'm telling you, if I knew that there was a partner out there like a Kelly Davis, I'm gonna get a wife tomorrow. Okay, if a wife's doing that, let me get a wife because Jesus. I mean, ride or die does not even fully encapsulate what Kelly did. What you guys need to understand, number one, like I said, the state tried to kill Keith, tried to kill him with bullets, and then tried to kill him by falsely imprisoning him. Okay, but what Kelly Davis was able to do as a Black woman, initially with certainly not a lot of community support. Let's be clear. Do you think the Black bourgeoisie in Baltimore came and rallied around the Davises because of police misconduct, prosecutorial misconduct, police brutality? Fuck no. Do you think the Baltimore NAACP said boo about Keith Davis Jr. and Kelly Davis? Absolutely not. Okay. This was a serious, sustained grassroots effort from the ground upwards. Okay. It was led by Kelly. She had some allies. Shout out to Keith's representation. I think the woman's name is Deborah Levy. Kelly, love her. Follow Kelly on Twitter. You better not say nothing bad about Deborah because Deborah did some grade A lawyering to make sure that her client, who was innocent, got a quote unquote fair shake in the judicial system, whatever the fuck that means. But the judicial system fucked up and did the right thing. Okay. And I will say this now, because I do credit Keith's release to Kelly and to organizers that helped. I'm not going to take away 100% the importance of electoral politics because at the end of the day, Marilyn Mosby had to go in order for this vision to be fully realized, for it to go from hashtag free Keith Davis Jr. to hashtag Keith Davis Jr. is free. Okay. And big up to folks like I want to say Megan Kinney. I follow her on Twitter at Expand Your Focus. If you go to the community section, I reposted the episode in which Kelly came on the show. And actually, that same day that Kelly appeared on the show is the day that Marilyn Mosby had announced those attempted murder charges against Keith. But anyway, on the cover, the thumbnail of that episode is Megan wearing a Free Keith Davis Jr. t-shirt. I think D. Ray and Campaign Zero played a part in this as well. I mean, they got on it years on, but still, any support that the Davises could have received, I know they welcomed it with open arms. So, the good news, guys, I mean, let me tell you, when I got that alert on my phone that Keith Davis Jr. had been released from jail, it was the good news I personally needed. Like I needed to see some peaks of light in all of the darkness. There's so much darkness in this country specifically, in the world generally. And I needed a a reinvigorating of my own faith in goodness prevailing, that the impossible can become possible. It did not look like this man was going to come home. It looked like Marilyn Mosby and them was about to run him for another trial on some bullshit. Okay. But then I remembered something. God don't like ugly. God does not like ugly. And fully entwined in the story of the persecution of Keith Davis Jr. has to be the story of Marilyn Mosby. Marilyn Mosby, as I said, former Baltimore State's attorney. Okay. Part of the reason why Marilyn Mosby is out of office is because her shit started to stink. I mean, maybe it stunk the whole time, but it really started to stink after she came under federal indictment for allegedly committing perjury on some mortgage forms. You know, Marilyn and her husband. I don't know what they think they are. Are they vacation? Are they travel agents? What are they doing? Are they Airbnb owners? What are they doing? They bought two houses in Florida. Federal prosecutors allege that they was not being fully truthful and transparent on some of their tax forms, mortgage forms, and Marilyn herself is charged with a couple of pity pat federal charges. And I will say that pity pat. But shit, I'm sure she charged people with pity pat shit all the time. Okay, make no mistake about it. So, as we celebrate the release of Keith Davis Jr., I would be remiss if I did not bring you guys up to speed on what's the latest happening with Marilyn Mosby. And we're going to play this package very short. This is like a minute, 2 days ago from Channel 13, WJZ in Baltimore. And I'm going to let you guys see what's going on with Marilyn and now.
Well, we are following some breaking news tonight. Moments ago, we just learned federal prosecutors have opposed Marilyn Mosby's defense team's request to back out from her perjury trial. In court documents obtained by WJZ, prosecutors determined Mosby's defense counsel failed to establish other good cause to withdraw. The documents also say the government does not object to lead attorney A. Scott Bolden withdrawing in light of his recent behavior. The six initially tried to leave following a series of hurdles they faced earlier this week, including the possibility of criminal contempt charges against Bolden. Four of the lawyers who work at Bolden's law firm say they could no longer represent Mosby because of a conflict, while the remaining two said they don't have the time and resources to take over the defense alone. Mosby faces 2 counts each of perjury and mortgage fraud. Her trial is scheduled to begin on March 27th in Baltimore. Stick with WJZ as we learn more on this breaking story.
Okay. So if that sounded a little jumbled because, WJZ is not exceptional at news writing, okay. Yeah, you heard that right. Marilyn Mosby's defense team is trying to quit. They're trying to roll out. They're trying to leave her as her trial approaches in the coming months and weeks. And yeah, you guys might recognize the name of her lead defense counsel, A. Scott Bolden. A friend of the Roland Martin Unfiltered program, if I'm not mistaken. I see A. Scott Bolden, lots of different places in Black media. And you guys heard that correctly. So what has happened in the lead up to Marilyn Mosby's trial is that A. Scott Bolden has been reprimanded by the judge. Let me give y'all some reporting here. Judge Grigsby, this is per Fox Baltimore. Judge Grigsby admonished A. Scott Bolden for violating various court rules and gave him until January 31st to explain why she should not hold him in contempt of court. That's right. If A. Scott Bolden don't come into court on January 31st with his fucking story, right, the judge is seriously considering charging him criminally with contempt of court. It goes on to say, it said that Grigsby found Mosby's lead counsel, A. Scott Bolden, they found that he violated multiple rules of the court, including disclosing confidential juror information, making improper out-of-court statements, and filing without local defense counsel. He's admitted pro hac vice. I don't know what that means. But the judges also went on to say, again, that they are considering criminal contempt sanctions on A. Scott Bolden because of his conduct in these, hearings and motions leading up to Mosby's eventual federal trial. Now, I did speak with a criminal defense friend of mine. I said, Is that typical that the lawyers say that, hey, you know what? We have a conflict and we can no longer represent this client. And my lawyer friend said, well, actually, it sounds as though that money is kind of funny because usually lawyers don't step away for conflicts, but they will step away if that bread ain't adding up. If that money ain't adding up, if them retainers ain't meeting the way that they supposed to meet, like Invisalign, if them retainers ain't lining up, the lawyers will step off. So, oh, what today when the tables are turned? What today when the tables are turned? And look, I'm going to play y'all another clip real quick, okay? Because I'm telling y'all, karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. You do people wrong out here, you might could look all fly and shiny for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You might be getting them MSNBC calls and whatnot. People might be saying you the best progressive prosecutor and all the blah, blah, blah. When you doing innocent people dirty, when you go out of your way to try to further oppress people who are already downtrodden and at the risk of being caught up in the system generally, as a lot of people in Baltimore are, nah, you're not making the situation better. If you're doing everything you can to stand in the way of true justice coming about, you're going to get what's coming to you, man. And this clip I want to play you guys is from a Fox 45 reporter. And let me be clear, okay? Fox 45 in Baltimore is some bullshit, okay? They are some bullshit. They are totally racist. They totally have it out for all the black politicians. And it's really kind of like a catch-22 as a viewer, because the bourgeoisie in Baltimore, the black mayor, Brandon Scott, the black head of the city council, president of the city council, Nick Mosby, who is Marilyn Mosby's husband. Yeah, he's still president of the Baltimore City Council. Marilyn Mosby herself. All of these people do need to be held to account. It is the racist tone that comes from Fox 45 that I don't like. I'm like, yes, definitely run up on them. But would you run up on them, Mackenzie Frost, who is the reporter that we're about to see here, whose clip we're about to see? I'm like, would you be running up on the white politicians like this, Mackenzie? I don't know. But anyway, fuck her. Listen to, I'm pretty sure Will, and maybe you can confirm this or not. There is a protester in Baltimore. His name is Shorty, Short Man. He's on Twitter somewhere. He has a barbecue. He has a grill. Shorty will run up on politicians and just blow up their whole press conference, just start yelling at them, right? Like, I kind of appreciate it. I would appreciate it more had Shorty not heckled me once at an event, but that is a different story. And I wasn't on no bullshit either. I don't know what the fuck he thought. It doesn't even matter to me what he thought. I respect the fact that this man will go up to these people in power, in political power in Baltimore City, and give them the business. So this clip we're about to see from Mackenzie Frost of Fox 45, you're going to see her trying to ask Marilyn Mosby and A. Scott Bolden questions as they were walking into court. I believe this was maybe yesterday, but I really want you to pay attention to the shit that I believe this is Shorty. I want you to pay attention to the shit that the gentleman heckling from the back. Pay close attention to what he is saying as Mosby and her legal team walk into federal court the other day.
You should drop the charges and free Keith Davis. Now y'all getting ready to trade places. Same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. Remember that stop snitching video from 2006?
Ms. Mosby, can you clarify what was really the truth about your travel businesses? Were they operational? Did you have plans to operate them while state's attorney?
You're not the state's attorney no more. That means prosecutorial immunity doesn't apply to you. Okay.
There's been obviously some varying stories about whether what was true and what wasn't.
You feel me? The corruption.
Mr. Bolden, do you think you'll be successful in court today moving this trial into Greenbelt?
Same way you did
Not
Keith
taking
Davis.
any questions.
It's a fair exchange. You feel me? A fair exchange.
Miss Mosby, what's your plans now that you're out of office?
I love that song. Turn that up. Turn that up. My man said, you put Keith Davis Jr. in jail. Now y'all about to trade places. The same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. I said, preach, son. Well, yeah, yes. Speak the words. And listen, any sort of hesitation that I used to have about, oh, maybe we shouldn't be too hard on Marilyn Mosby. She's a black woman just trying to blah, blah, blah. No. Marilyn Mosby represents that black bourgeoisie in Baltimore that really has a deep animus to poor black people and working class people in Baltimore City. There are very clear lines of demarcation about class warfare, basically. Like the bougie blacks are very comfortable to let the police wage war against poorer Baltimoreans. And, I was just wondering, I said, I don't watch Rolly. I'm sure y'all watch Rolly. I said, has Rolly even talked about this? Has Rolly mentioned that his mans is about to be caught up on some contempt charges? Has MSNBC reported on this at all? has MSNBC, which I'm sure has a talent contract waiting for Marilyn Mosby, should she beat these federal charges? They can't wait to put Marilyn Mosby on TV. Have they even discussed this? Has this come up on MSNBC? Has Joyanne discussed this? Rachel? Anybody? Lawrence? Talk. Listen, we're not rooting for everybody black, and dare I say, we root against the black bushies. Okay, so we want to say big up to the Davises, big up to Keith Davis Jr., big up to Kelly Davis. Congratulations on Keith being free. Pop up that GoFundMe if you could. Well, if you go to our community section, guys, I want to thank the Fire Fam because your support of this channel helps us to redistribute funds. We're not running nobody no stack, unfortunately, but we did send Keith Davis Jr.'s GoFundMe a $100 donation. Okay, so they are trying to raise $50,000 in order to help Keith restart his life. This man has been incarcerated for 7 years, and though I don't know what the Davises' plans are, I do hope that a civil suit is forthcoming because this man was in jail for several years here, not fucking convicted of anything. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And again, congratulations to Keith and Kelly and, Marilyn and Nick. Thumbs down, 2 thumbs down. I was going to say sarcastically, best of luck to you, but no, I don't even mean that shit sarcastically. I don't. Because they tried to use the office and their powers of their office to truly break this couple. And again, I can't overstate to y'all how truly amazing Kelly Davis is to have stood up truly to the most powerful woman and one of the most powerful offices in the entire city. Really, almost you could even say in the entire state. And Kelly won. Keith won. Her husband is home. Her children's father is home. Okay. And Baltimore City is going to have to break off the Davises, I hope, with many, many millions of dollars because you are not going to be able to replace the time that this man lost with his family and with his children. And you saw the reaction from his kids. And that was just one reaction from one of their children when they saw that their dad was out free. Okay. These kids are going to have to endure a lot of healing for that time that was stolen away from the Davises because of a vindictive prosecutor and a criminal injustice system that allowed the continued prosecution of an innocent man. Burn this shit to the fucking ground, but pay the Davises before you do.